Hey guys, welcome back. It's week 5 and it's a great week. It's Masters week. Today we're looking at strengthening our glute max and our glute med. Now our glute is our biggest muscle in our body and it's pretty important in our golf swing. As we load forward into golf posture, it's a muscle that helps control ourselves down and more importantly it helps us rotate into our backswing and follow through. Combine our glute max with our glute med and those are the two muscles we're going to look at strengthening today. This is going to help us twist a little bit further, so turning more into our backswing and also through our follow through. It's going to give us a little bit of strength, which is going to help us become a little bit more stable as we twist and turn a little bit further. And finally, it's going to allow us to transfer so we can get those hips kind of twisting a little bit quicker, hopefully allowing that force to come from the floor up through our hips, up through our upper body and hitting the ball further. Like every week, if you like the videos, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with as much of the content we're putting out. First up, we're going to go through our glute bridge. But before we even get into that, I want to just chat you through last week's homework again. So firstly, we're going to grab that softball out and get into our glute to try and loosen that off through there. We're then going to go into our half kneeling twist, where we're going to come into that 90-90 position with our knee. We're going to get a big twist and rotate and hit each side. And then finally, we're going to do our knee drops. We're going to lie onto our back, feet hip width apart, and let those knees dropping down with our arms out nice and wide. And that's a great lead on to the first exercise we're going to do today, which is a glute bridge. So going back into that knee drop position, we're going to come on to our back. We're going to have our feet again, still hip width to shoulder width apart, but our toes pointing forwards. We're going to keep our hands across our chest this time. But what we're going to do, we're going to think about pulling that waistband towards our rib cage. So we do what's called a posterior pelvic tilt. And we're then going to squeeze our bum, lifting our hips up as high off the floor as we can. Notice I'm going to try and keep my knee, hip and shoulder in line. I'm going to hold for 5 seconds and then I'm going to control slowly back down. And I'll repeat that again for you guys. So hands on hips, I'm going to think about twisting that pelvis back towards ourselves, slowly squeezing the bum, lifting the hips up and holding 5 and control down. One more for us. So think about twisting that pelvis back towards ourselves, squeezing our bum as hard as we can and lift up, holding at the top for 5 seconds. Don't have one. We're going to look at strengthening our glute med. So it's a small muscle on the outside of our hip, one of our 3 glute muscles, and it's really important in rotation. So if we were to set up and into our golf posture, to be able to rotate into backswing and then come through impact and rotate through to follow through, we're going to need to have not only good range and length through this muscle, but also more importantly, we're going to need some good strength through there. The mini band, we're going to grab and we're going to loop it around our toes so it goes in line with our bottom legs. We're then going to come into kind of golf posture that we would have with say a driver or 5-iron. Soft knee, soft hip. From there, we're going to drive our feet from kind of long iron to driver with stamp just outside shoulder width and back. We're going to go all the way out in one direction for around about 5 meters and then come back facing the same way. We're not going to change direction, we don't need to, so we get a balance between our left and our right hand side. So we're going to take these 2 exercises, combine them with last week's exercises to give you a hip based warm up. So starting off with our soft tissue work into our glute, our half knee and hip flexor and also our knee drop. Combine these and add in this week's exercises of our glute bridge and our band walks, that's going to give you a great starting place. And we can use this before you're swinging a golf club to start helping you twist and turn a little bit better. Next week, we're looking at golf warm-up as a whole and how we could take some of the exercises from the last 5 weeks to give you 3 to 5 simple exercises which will help you twist, turn and play some better golf. Ultimately meaning that we're not losing balls on the range and wasting our first 15 to 20 minutes. And more importantly, when we're playing, we're not stood on the 4th tee thinking, right, I'm finally ready to play. More importantly, we're not down 2 or 3 shots. So that's next week. I hope everybody has a great weekend. It's Masters weekend after all. Don't forget to give us a follow, a subscribe and a thumbs up if you do. All my details are next to me at the moment. And don't forget to give Bunker a follow as well. Have a great weekend watching the Masters, guys, and I'll see you next week.